Orban is the Prime Minister of Hungary. He's the longest-serving leader in the EU. He's been Hungary's autocratic leader since 2010. He's been there more than 14 years, and in true strongman style, he shows no intention of leaving power anytime soon. Ex-dictator is not a good job title for anyone, right? Here in the U.S., the Trump movement has overtly acknowledged Orban's rise as a blueprint for their own plans to stop the United States from being a liberal democracy, and in many ways to stop the U.S. from being a democracy at all. The nation of Hungary is not on the road to authoritarianism like we are here in the U.S. Hungary has arrived. It is an authoritarian regime. But that doesn't mean the opposition has stopped fighting. Quite the contrary. Right now, they might be stronger than they've ever been. They're coming back. This is what Hungary's capital city of Budapest has looked like every Tuesday for nearly 2 months now. Thousands of people taking to the streets to protest what is on its face a ban on the gay pride parade, the LGBTQ pride parade in Budapest. But really, it's bigger than that. It's an assault on the freedom of assembly itself in that country. Thousands of people have been taking to the streets every week, every Tuesday. And this in a country that is far from a responsive liberal democracy. They've been turning out in huge numbers every week to make their voices heard. It's happening at a time when Orban's popularity is declining. His party is polling behind the opposition party again and again. Orban's government is trying to attack the freedom of assembly in order to cling to power despite the public's dim view of Orban's reign. But for now, the people still have freedom of assembly, and they are trying to protect it by using it with an exclamation point. My beloved colleague Alex Wagner has just returned from a fascinating reporting trip to Budapest, where she talked with those protesters.
Why did you come to the protest?
Because they are trying to limit our rights, and they are trying to ban our existence here.
Do you think that people who are not here are paying attention to what's going on? Do you think this raises awareness?
Yeah, I think they do. We can't not pay attention because we are here in the streets, we are screaming, we are yelling to set us free. Because this is not freedom, this is not democracy what they're doing right now.
You know, we're in America and we have Trump, who's a big fan of Orban.
Yeah, they're besties.
Yeah. Well, and now there's a question about whether Americans need to be doing more of this kind of protest.
Definitely.
To raise awareness.
I still hope that we can change this. We are young, we are here, and we don't want this. We want change. We want democracy.
Do you think that this is raising awareness?
Yes, absolutely raising awareness. That's one of the most important things. Yes, that people see that something is happening.
Why do you think this was the thing, this was the tipping point?
Because it doesn't only affect pride, it also affects our rights of assembly, you know, so they can control anything basically now.
We're coming from America,
Yeah.
where we're sort of beginning to grapple with
Yeah,
some of the same issues.
Yeah.
Things are now reaching a tipping point in the United
I
States.
think they are actually. Well, it wasn't a really good choice to let Donald Trump in. So I actually hope people do the same, keep protesting and keep speaking out, just to make them uncomfortable and to make them let them see that they cannot do anything without consequences.
So is this your first time coming out to protest this?
No, I'm protesting since 15 years. So,
Oh wow, so you've been opposed to.
Since the Orban government is ruining our democracy, and this is what's happening in the US right now, so you should be worried about your status as well.
Since the Orban government is ruining our democracy, 15 years, this is what's happening in the U.S. right now. You should be worried about your status as well. Wow. Joining us now is my colleague Alex Wagner, MSNBC's senior political analyst and the host of the podcast Trumpland with Alex Wagner. Alex, this freaking incredible footage. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for airing it. You know, the incredible accolades go to the people who are in the streets, as you mentioned, Rachel. I mean, these are the people who have lived under an autocracy for 15 years. I mean, the two younger people that I was speaking to, you know, have only really known Orban their entire lives, and yet their commitment to the cause, their resilience, their tenacity, their enthusiasm is extraordinary. I have to say, you know, you've done such an amazing job of covering these protests that have been happening around the country, but I do think for some people there's a sense that, there's a sense of malaise, if not hopelessness, that people kind of communicate in their day-to-day. But you go to a place like Hungary and you see these people out in the streets, and you cannot come back here to the United States and not be optimistic, not just about our institutions and our democracy, but the people that live here and the opportunities that we have as Americans to change our destiny, to change our future. I mean, as a journalist, as a citizen, it was, a lot of it was tough. A lot of these interviews were tough, but overall, I came back fired up, ready to go, to paraphrase, a phrase of yore. But really, Rachel, it was an extraordinary trip.
And Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you spoke to one of the leaders, not just of the protests, but one of the opposition political parties, a member of parliament named Martin Tomposh. We've pulled a clip of that. I want to play a little bit of it, and then I have a question for you about it on the other side.
Do you think the 2026 elections are going to be different? Could they be a different outcome than Orban winning?
They will be different, but not because of the result. I don't want to guess what's going to happen. I'm sure that it's going to be different because of the candidates, and it's going to be different because if Fidesz is losing like half year before, they're going to change it completely, so nobody will even have a slightest chance to win.
You think that they're going to actually interfere in the election?
Yes, and not only them, the Russians, the Chinese. I mean, Hungary is such a strong Trojan horse in the bloc that it's just too good an investment to let go.
How do you then, if you believe that, if Orban stands a chance of losing, they will literally rig the election,
Yeah.
What's the point?
I have a 7-week son, 7-week-old, and if I'm not gonna do something, what can I tell him when he grows up and asks that, when we left Hungary, why? Did you do something? And I can say, yeah. I've been an MP, I've been doing this for 10 years, and then we left when the last moment when it seemed like there is no change.
Wow. I want to ask you, Alex, essentially the same question that you asked Mr. Tomposh there. The protesters that you talk with, do they think there is a real possibility of ousting Orban in the next election? And if they don't, like he doesn't, he thinks that Orban will never allow that. What do they see as the tactical point of holding these protests?
They see this as the work of a democracy. I think you get different assessments based on who you talk to. Mr. Tomposh thinks that he's going to be a grandfather by the time Orban is out, but you talk to other people who think, look, Orban has done a terrible job, much like Trump, of steering the Hungarian economy. There's an opposition figure, Peter Magyar, who is rising, who is spending a lot of time in all parts of Hungary, who has a lot of support from a lot of a wide cross-section of Hungarian society. But ultimately, look, they think they understand the stakes. They look to America. They have lots of advice about what we should be doing. They'd like to see even more Americans in the streets. But they think fundamentally that when you have hope, whether that's hope within you or an actual alternative in the form of an opposition figure, that anything is possible, Rachel. And I spoke to one individual, Sandor Lederer, who runs an amazing anti-corruption organization called K-Monitor. And he said, you can talk about corruption every single day, and you should, and we should document the sins of the powerful. But nothing changes, and you lose people at some point unless you give them an alternative. And right now in Hungary, it feels like there's an alternative. People have coalesced around issues like pride that are really, as you point out, issues of civil liberties, freedom of assembly. They have found an opposition figure that gives them hope. They have looked to places elsewhere in the world and realized that, democracy is an idea, and it is their idea. They hold it close, and they're fighting for it. A lot of them are younger. I think they have, by nature, a little bit more optimism than older generations, but is by no means generational. What you see there is a powerful example of how we as Americans can think about our fortunes. And I just got to say, the tenacity of this society after 15 years of autocracy, it felt as energized as any place I have ever been in. And we would do well to hear from these people, look at their examples, and listen to their advice as we try and navigate our own version of You know, an autocratic, power-hungry ruler intent on enriching himself at all costs.
Yeah, it's try to see us through their eyes.
Yeah.
And they see what remains of our freedom of the press and our freedom of assembly and our ability to have opposition politics and all this stuff that has been completely winnowed down. They see that we've got levers to pull that they would kill for. It's just that we've got to see it through their eyes in order to see it and not take it for granted. It's really, really, really great reporting, and it's great to see you. Alex Wagner, MSNBC senior political analyst. Thank you, my friends. Fantastic work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can hear more of Alex's reporting from Hungary on her podcast, Trumpland with Alex Wagner. The next episode drops on Thursday. All right, more news ahead here tonight. Stay with us.